Now, alleged game journalist Jason Schreier did a Q&A, and some of you guys suggested that I go there, and I said there is absolutely nothing that I could communicate with Jason Schreier. You know the type. Look, if stereotyping is wrong, why am I always so right? I mean, here you go. First question. What's a non-issue that industry outsiders are treating like a big deal? Diversity consultants. They are the blood of the American gaming industry. I do like this, you know. In one way, they're not important, but in another way, they can't be let go. Like, if I was a company and you have diversity consultants, but they're not necessary. However, if you hire them, you notice a drop in sales and people are vocal about it. Why would you hire them then? Like, what's the point, right? They're not important according to Jason Schreier. Oh, but they are, because look, literally the second paragraph, he's saying, there is something inherently wrong. Inherently wrong, like it's inherited. Someone died and gave you the inheritance of wrongness with starting a video game company in 2021, having the budget to hire 20 people, and not hiring a single woman. Not a single woman. Like, wow, are you not a bunch of perverts? Like, why do you not hire the woman? You need to hire the woman, at least a single one, to please Jason Schreier. Now, he's not a shareholder. He doesn't get any investment in your company. But you must hire it, because otherwise Jason Schreier is displeased. If you have a problem with that, please stop playing video games forever. See? He's going to declare you excommunicado. Like, if you start a gaming company with 10 friends of yours, and you don't hire a single woman, Jason Schreier can't sleep at night. Why do you do this to him? What kind of sick fuck are you? Like, why don't you think about Jason Schreier's well-being? And if you don't think about that, then he wants you to stop playing video games forever. Here's the interesting part, though, right? Let's say that you do hire that single woman. And now you need the consultants. You need the consultants because you need to create the entire workplace to fit, or otherwise you can get a lawsuit. Like, one of the guys can say something inappropriate. There was a case, I think it was at Elon Musk's company. Apparently, one black person was called the N-word. Now, he didn't have any evidence of this. It's not a video footage, not on camera, no witnesses. But he sued the company. And it turns out that the company settled because lawsuit expensive. So what do companies do? Well, they get the fat, plump HR lady that is going to lecture you and send you emails about corporate culture and don't make sexist jokes and don't make racist jokes and yada, yada, yada. And now the company, if it gets sued, it's like, no, we spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on DEI. We spend the money, right? Because like, you can't puppeteer your employees. You can't mind control your employees. If someone wants to be a cheeky little shit, there's nothing you can do except get a lawsuit, right? I find this to be incredibly pathological. China doesn't think like this. Japan doesn't think like this. Only people like Jason Schreier think like this. You know, there's nothing stopping women from creating companies. Why isn't Jason Schreier saying, oh, in 2024, I think there's something inherently wrong if 10 women start a company and don't hire a single man? It sounds so fucked up, doesn't it? It's like, why do you care? It's not your business. Now, of course, if there are like discriminatory hiring practices, like if people go out of their way to avoid hiring women because they're women, then yes. But like, if it just so happens that like 10 people know each other and they're friends with each other and they want to start a company, I don't think they need to go like, Jason, we want to do this, but we also want to play video games. Please, Jason, please, Masa. Please allow us to do this, please. By the way, there was a time when this was absolutely hilarious. All the game journalists were almost all men, and they were bitching and whining that there's not enough women in game development. But all the game journalists were all men at the time. I remember, like, you'd see the faces of people working at Polygon, a sea of white men, and they were like, why is there no more diversity in video games? So anyway, he says that I don't really have a sense of how many people have been conned into believing that game developers are evil for having Assassin's Creed include a black guy protagonist. It's not that Assassin's Creed includes a black guy protagonist, it feels as if every single game requires black people now, as if they're the spice melange of video games, as if the video gaming industry cannot flow without black people. Did you notice this shit? And when you have a video game that doesn't have a black person, like Wukong, the journalists lose their marbles. They start writing all the articles. It's like, where's the diversity? Where is it? What is it? I must have it. It's almost like they're going into withdrawal. It's almost like they're not getting their crack. So fucking weird, you know? Like, you play a game where you're a monkey in the Chinese mythology, right? Wukong. And the journalists are like, where's the black people? Where's the black people? Jesus Christ, what's wrong with these individuals? Like, I'm not saying it's bad for a game to have a black protagonist, but does literally every single game that comes out, with no exception, even if it makes sense or doesn't, and when you make a game in Japan during a medieval time period, you, like, from all that history, you gotta go and insert the American in it. Like, Americans need to be everywhere. They need to feel represented everywhere. In China, in Japan, in Asia. The way things are going, you're going to have a game that takes place on the bottom of the ocean, and Jason Schreier is going to complain that there's no black people in it. Oh, never mind. Disney already made that. Black Mermaid. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh, of course. I think in general, the market has proven that DEI isn't really a factor when it comes to sale. Baldur's Gate 3 was a mega hit, and that's about as woke as it gets. No, sorry. Again, like, these people are game journalists and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Yes, Baldur's Gate 3 is woke, but it's not as woke as it gets. It's not Dustborn. Now, sure, you can't go around misgendering and dead-naming people, right? You don't have the freedom to do that. But in the first act, there are a couple of refugees that go to the druids, and some of the refugees even start robbing the druids of their priceless artifacts, and they cause a lot of mischief. If you want, you can slaughter the refugees, right? A game that was woke wouldn't allow you to do that. Like, there are, for instance, Baldur's Gate 2.5, yes, there is such a game. And there is a trans character in it. And you can play as the worst blackguard imaginable. Like, you can be a psychopathic asshole, but when you meet that trans character, you cannot misgender. You cannot be mean to them. There is no option. There's no dialogue option, right? So that would be, like, as woke as it gets. It's like the game doesn't even allow you to be a dick. But no, Baldur's Gate 3, yes, it's a woke game. It's like, again, I'm getting PTSD from the camp when the jacked up druid on steroids comes to me and wants to clap my cheeks in the forest. And I'm like, but I'm straight, and he doesn't care. He wants to clap my cheeks, and he wants to clap my girlfriend's cheeks as well. It's like, he's the clapper. And he will turn into bear form. And like, that's woke shit. It is. There's no way around it. But the gameplay is good. The graphics are good. The soundtrack is great. So people like the game. Like you can literally ignore the story. You can play the game on mute without listening to the voice act, just pressing escape, and it's still a good game, right? The problem is that this is the exception. Yeah, you throw 100 games, and eventually one will land, sure. But this is the exception. The main issue with wokeness is that these individuals, like Jason Schreier, right? He cannot stand someone that's not woke. Like, he would not be able to cohabitate. He would not be able to work with the MAGA supporter. And let's assume that they are, like, some of the best developers out there. He would go like, no, I'm not working with this guy. He's a bigot. So you're basically deciding to throw out talent. You're basically deciding that, no, you're going to hire just based on ideology. And you're going to end up with mediocre people. And this is why a lot of these woke games have major issues. They don't start at launch. They're broken beyond belief even after they get patched. And most of them are boring and bland, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that if Forspoken was a success, they would have said, oh, look at Forspoken, look at Forspoken. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about Concord. They don't talk about the sales and the latest Ubisoft games, plural, right? They don't talk about how popular the new wheelchair chica from, what's it called, the Sieges, right? Like, they have a new operative. It's in a wheelchair. They talked about it, how amazing it is that they created it, but they don't talk about the sales. They don't talk about how many people play with that operative. They don't talk about, once they release it, it's like, oh, this is such a woke product, and blah, 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 and then the market doesn't buy it, and they shut the fuck up. They don't mention it, unless it sells. If it sells, it sells because it's woke. Yeah, I mean, sure, it can happen every now and then. I mean, the thing with Baldur's Gate, and this is what I heard from the insiders, is that the team that finished the game is very different than the team that started. So when they started, they had like a normal team, and this is why Act 1 and Act 2 is good, while Act 3 was something that didn't even work on launch. Like, I actually had to wait to be able to finish the game, because it would get stuck in Act 3. And this is because, like, by the end of the development, the team was woke. For those of you who remember, when the game was announced, and it was early access, there was no wokeness in it. It had no pronouns, it had beautiful characters, and then, like, the game starts being in development, it's like, oh, here's a gay vampire. And, okay, well, a gay vampire, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to get pronouns now, here's some ugly women. Hag maxing the Night Elves. It's the Dark Elves. That's what the game was. And, but all in all, I wouldn't say it's as woke as it gets. No, it's pretty woke, yeah, but it's not as woke as it gets. Like, I could give you like 5 or 10 other titles that are more woke. So, yeah, this was the Jason Schreier. Wow, I guess I'm really sad that I missed the AMA, right? I should have been there. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.